Samurai family, UFC 252, the Trilogy, Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier going down this evening. Wanted to give my take on the fights. First fight is John Dobson versus Merab Dvalishvili. I'm picking John Dobson in this fight. John Dobson is a little more experienced. Don't be fooled by his record because his losses are only to the elite. He has losses to Marlon Moraes, Peter Yan, and DJ. But other than that, he's pretty much beating everybody else. He's tricky and wily with great power. And if Merab overcommits or overextends at any point, he's going to get knocked out. So I'll take John Dobson, the magician, in that fight. The second fight is Herbert Burns versus Daniel Pineda. Both of these dudes have a lot of first-round finishes. They come out swinging. They have great submissions as well. But Herbert Burns is the brother of Gilbert Burns, and they're also in camp with the 170-pound welterweight champion, Kamaru Usman. Because of his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background and also coming from a great camp and all the first-round finishes, I'm picking Herbert Burns. In the next fight, we have lightweight veterans. We have Jim Miller versus Vince Pichel. This is a good one. Pichel is on a 2-fight win streak, and he's won 5 out of his last 6 fights. And Jim Miller is coming off of a really big win against a promising prospect in Roosevelt Roberts. Even though Pichel was from the hometown right here in our own soil in California, I'm going to have to go with the more experienced Jim Miller, and this will probably end in a rear naked or a guillotine choke. And the next fight, got the heavy-handed heavyweights, JDS, Junior Dos Santos versus Jair Rozenstruik. Junior Dos Santos stands at 6'4", and Rozenstruik is only 6'2", which is not super tall as a heavyweight. JDS has a 77-inch reach, and Rozenstruik, however, is only 6'2", but he's got a slight 1-inch reach advantage. Both of these guys are skilled strikers, and I predict this fight to finish with the KO. I'm gonna take Jair Rozenstruik for the knockout. In the next fight, we have the Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera, and that's the co-main event of the evening. Sean O'Malley is a highly touted young prospect, 5'11", with a 72-inch reach. He's a hell of a striker and stand-up fighter, and he's got pretty good accuracy and precision with his punches. Chito Vera is only 5'8" and has a 70.5-inch reach. The keys for Chito in this fight is to use his strong wrestling and to be a grappler until he finds an opening and exploit that, and be insistent, land elbows, and stay well balanced physically and also in terms of his energy. But I'm hoping for the upset with Chito Vera in that fight. And in the main event of the evening, Daniel DC Cormier, the future Hall of Famer, veteran, all-time great, against Stipe Miocic. They both weighed in at just under 240 pounds. The keys to victory for Stipe: he has to use his footwork, his movement. He has to disengage quickly whenever they're in the clinch. He can't become stationary, because if he does, that's when he's most vulnerable. He's got to keep his head off a center line and move, use long range, use his long range striking, and also he's got to be patient, because if he rushes in, DC is an experienced enough veteran to catch him like he did in fight 1 and get the KO. And for Daniel Cormier, the keys to victory for him: hard low leg kicks. And the longer that he can extend the wrestling sequences, the better off he'll be. He's got to take really good wrestling shots, attacks, re-attacks, scrambles, and aggressively chain wrestle. And if he can do that, I predict Daniel Cormier to come out with the victory. He has to get that clinch game going, the duck under, and work that high crotch takedown. And if he does, Daniel Cormier should come out successful and retire. But that's my take on the fight. I'll talk to you guys after the fight. Peace.